Okay, so we're going to demonstrate some of the rules of integrals. And they've given us these facts. We don't know what f of x is, and we don't know what g of x is, but they told us the integral from 1 to 2 of f of x is equal to negative 4. The integral from 1 to 5 of f of x is equal to 6. Okay, so this first one, they're asking for the integral from 1 to 1, and you might say, well, I've got 1 to 2. I don't have 1 to 1. I got 1 to 5. But think about what this is asking you to do with respect to what the visual representation of an integral is. It's asking you to find the area of whatever this curve is. Let's say this is what f of x looks like. They want you to find the area under the curve between x equals 1 and x equals 1. There's no space there, right? There's no two-dimensional area. So if you're asked to find the integral from something to itself, you have no space in the x-axis to travel. So the integral is 0. And then they want to emphasize, if you reverse the rules of integration, if you know 1 to 2 is equal to negative 4, then 2, starting at 2 and going backwards to 1, going backwards is negative. So a negative negative 4 makes a positive 4. Okay? If 1 to 2 is negative 4, then reverse 2 to 1 would be positive 4, the opposite sign. Oops, sorry, this is supposed to be inside. I jumped ahead. Okay, so if you're asked to find the integral from 1 to 5 of 4 times g of x, you might say, well, I've got 1 to 5 of just g of x. That equals 8, but I don't know what to do with the 4. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to use the fact that the integral is a linear operator. That means two big properties apply. The first property is that when you multiply something by a constant, you can move the constant outside the operation and multiply it after the operation is done. So I can move that 4 to the outside. Okay? And then this is something I know. I have this right up here. It's equal to 8, right? So we can say that this is 4 times 8. So 4 times 8 is 32. Okay, and then the last one here, the other property of a linear operator means it works like the distributive property. Okay, if you have the integral from 1 to 5 of two different functions that are being subtracted, then you can break it up in two separate integrals like this. That's another linear property. Okay, and then this one we know what to do. The 2 can move out front like we just did in the last problem. And the integral from 1 to 5 of f of x, that's something they gave us. The integral from 1 to 5 of f of x is equal to 6. So this is 2 times 6 minus, this one's going to be 8. So that's 12 minus 8, that equals 4.